안녕하세요. 새해를 맞았네요. 여러분들 새해 복 많이 받으시고 2022년은 더 좋은 일들만 있기를 바라겠어요. 연말연시 바쁘시고 잘 지냈죠? 날씨도 엄청 추웠고요. 그죠? 오늘 또 웨비나를 다시 시작하게 됐습니다. 어느덧 이제 2개만 하면 2021년도에 계획했던 웨비나가 다 끝나게 됐는데 여러분들한테 좋은 기회가 됐으면 좋겠고요. 여러분들이 조금이라도 더 도움이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 오늘 또한 제니퍼가 또 좋은 말씀을 같이 공유하고 자기가 어떻게 지금 우리 세상에서 나를 찾아서 잘 살아갈 수 있는지에 대한 일인 것 같아요. Unplugged Yourself는 아마 우리가 많은 것들이 우리 좋은 IT들도 많고 있지만 우리는 거기에 노예가 되는 기분도 가끔은 들죠. 그런 것들을 어떻게 우리가 거기 속에서 벗어날 수 있는지 다시 한번 리마인드하고 또 배우는 시간이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 여러분들한테 좋은 시간이 되면 좋겠고요. 이 웨비나는 시리아브 캘가리가 스폰서를 쓰고 캘가리 코리안 아트 우먼스 어소시에이션에서 합니다. 여러분들 많이 선전도 해주시고 2번 남은 것도 꼭 참석을 부탁드리겠습니다. 좋은 시간 가지십시오. Hi everyone, Happy New Year everybody. And this is first 2022 webinar we're doing it. And it's been a cold and tough New Year's and end of the year, right? Everybody hopefully safe. I hear that Jennifer wasn't very good, but she can able to join us today, and I really appreciate it. And thank you so much, everyone of the attend. And this webinar sponsored by City of Calgary and Korean Women's Associations doing it. And it's been a long, but it's short. We've been in 20 webinars, only 2 left, which is amazes me. And hopefully everybody get some benefit. And I think they will get it. Today, and we do have another subject, we do unplug ourselves. Yeah, we are in tons of informations and tons of ITs, and sometimes we can even follow. But how we can find yourself is the title, I believe. So I think this is a really good information sessions, and hopefully everybody got to join. And this webinar and as volunteers, Sophia and Susan, Christy, and Farah, and they done it so much work and so much effort they put it in. I really, really appreciate it. And we can do much better 2022, every one of you. So I'll hand it to Jennifer, and Jennifer will introduce herself, and then we go for it. Have a good time.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to share the presentation. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Unplug Yourself webinar. First off, I would like to thank Anna and Farah for all of their hard work bringing together wonderful presenters for this webinar series and the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I would like to thank the translators, Chrissy and Sophia, for their help with this presentation. So my name is Jen Abbot, and I'm a fitness coach and a prenatal and postnatal exercise specialist.
Unplug Yourself 웨비나에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 먼저 이 웨비나 시리즈를 위해 훌륭한 발표자를 모으기 위해 노력하고 오늘 밤 여러분과 이야기할 기회를 주신 아나와 페라에게 감사드립니다. 젠 아베트는 피트니스 코치자, 산전 및 산후 운동 전문가입니다.
I'll start by introducing myself. I'm a clinical exercise physiologist certified by the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and a pre- and postnatal exercise specialist. I have 16 years of experience in fitness coaching, personal training, and fitness center management at both a public and corporate level. I'm currently self-employed with my company, Abbott Coaching, and this is where I provide fitness services specifically for women. And I'm also a wife and mom of 2 boys. They're 4 and 2.
그는 캐나다 운동생리학회의 인증을 받은 임상운동생리학자이자 산전 및 산후운동 전문가입니다. 그녀는 공공 및 기업 수준에서 그룹 피트니스 코칭, 개인 트레이닝 및 피트니스 센터 관리 분야에서 16년의 경험을 가지고 있습니다. 그녀는 현재 여성을 위한 피트니스 코칭 서비스를 제공하는 아벳 코칭의 회사에서 자영업을 하고 있습니다. 그는 또한 4살과 2살의 매우 활동적인 두 소년의 아내이자 엄마입니다.
Oh, sorry. I guess I could have left that slide up for you. Okay, I love this quote by Anne Lamott. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, even yourself. I think it's a great reminder that sometimes we need to slow down, take a step back to regroup, and this can help us feel less stressed and more calm.
앤 라마트의 인용문입니다. 당신을 포함하여 몇 분 동안 플러그를 뽑으면 거의 모든 것이 다시 작동합니다. 스트레스를 덜 받고 차분함을 느끼기 위해 재편성하기 위해 한 발 물러서서 속도를 늦출 필요가 있음을 상기시켜 줍니다.
So here's what you can expect from today's presentation. We will start by reviewing the downsides to always being connected from a psychological and a physiological perspective. We will review review unplugging as well as the benefits of unplugging, and the 24-hour sedentary movement guidelines. And then I will leave you with some tips for unplugging from technology that you can incorporate into your own life.
오늘의 웨비나에서 기대할 수 있는 내용은 항상 연결되어 있는 것의 단점, 플러그 뽑기의 이점, 24시간 앉아있는 행동 지침, 전기 제품에서 분리하기 위한 팁입니다.
So first we will review the downside of the psychological effects of being connected. Some studies have shown that people are 3 times more likely to perceive social isolation with high use of technology. And I think this is a very apparent situation in our current environment through the pandemic, when many people only have an option of communicating using technology. This excessive use of technology can trigger feelings of low self-esteem that lead to depression and anxiety. And then internet addiction is another psychological effect of being connected. This disorder shares many similar features when compared to other forms of addiction, such as alcohol or gambling. The symptoms could be withdrawal when online access isn't available.
먼저 연결의 심리적 효과의 단점을 검토합니다. 일부 연구에 따르면 사람들은 기술을 많이 사용하면 사회적 고립을 인식할 가능성이 3배 더 높습니다. 이것은 많은 사람들이 기술을 사용하여 의사소통할 수 있는 옵션만 있는 대유행 동안 우리의 현재 상황에서 매우 분명합니다. 이러한 과도한 기술 사용은 우울증과 불안으로 이어지는 낮은 자존감을 유발할 수도 있습니다. 인터넷 중독은 연결의 또 다른 심리적 효과입니다. 이 장애는 다른 형태의 중독, 알코올 또는 도박과 비교할 때 온라인 액세스를 사용할 수 없을 때 근당 증상과 같은 많은 유사한 특징을 공유합니다.
So technology has also revealed many negative physical effects. Some people might experience eye strain, This type of discomfort comes from looking at a screen for long periods of time. Others might experience poor posture due to that hunching over while sitting at a desk, or neck strain from looking down at their phone or tablet. And this seated position causes more of our core muscles and our glute muscles to deactivate, and then they become weaker over time and are less able to support your posture. So it's kind of a cycle that we want to try to break. Sleep problems are also very common due to the blue light from screens, especially when we've looked at screens within 1 hour of bedtime. This use of screens is also associated with reduced amounts of physical activity. So most of the time when we are in front of a screen, we are sedentary, meaning seated, possibly lying down, and not moving our bodies.
기술은 또한 많은 부정적인 물리적 영향을 드러냈습니다. 어떤 사람들은 눈의 피로를 경험할 수 있습니다. 이러한 유형의 불편함은 오랜 시간 화면을 볼 때 발생합니다. 다른 사람들은 책상에 앉아 있거나 휴대폰이나 태블릿을 내려다보면서 몸을 구부려 자세가 좋지 않을 수 있습니다. 이 앉은 자세는 또한 코어 근육과 둔부 근육을 비활성화시켜 시간이 지남에 따라 약해지고 적절한 자세를 지지할 수 없게 됩니다. 수면 문제는 특히 취침 시간 1시간 이내에 화면을 보았을 때 화면의 청색광으로 인해 매우 일반적입니다. 스크린의 사용은 또한 신체 활동의 감소와 관련이 있습니다. 우리가 스크린 앞에 있을 때 대부분의 시간은 앉아 있기 때문에 몸을 움직이지 않고 누워 있을 수는 있습니다.
So that we can see that the high use of screens and technology can negatively affect our physiological and psychological health. So now we're going to review the benefits of unplugging from technology. So many people experience increased happiness due to less comparison of others over social media or fear of missing out. When we unplug, we often find we have better focus because we are not distracted by the constant alerts from social media. And some studies have shown that after each interruption, it takes over 23 minutes to refocus. So imagine if you didn't have that distraction from social media alerts or emails, how much more focused you might be on the task that you're doing. Improved sleep can come from removing the blue light of screens before bedtime. This blue light affects and disrupts our melatonin production, which is the hormone that signals our body to sleep. And unplugging from technology will allow you to refocus your energy back onto you. It helps bring focus on our general well-being rather than focusing on what everyone else might be doing. We might stop worrying so much about what others are doing and start worrying more about ourselves and how we can take care of our own health and well-being.
이제 우리는 기술에서 분리할 때 이 점을 검토할 것입니다. 많은 사람들은 소셜미디어를 통해 다른 사람과의 비교가 적거나 놓치는 것에 대한 두려움으로 인해 더 큰 행복을 경험합니다. 우리는 플러그를 뽑을 때 소셜미디어의 그 끊임없는 경고의 주의가 산만하지 않기 때문에 더 잘 집중할 수 있다는 것을 종종 발견합니다. 일부 연구에 따르면 방해가 있을 때마다 다시 집중하는데 23분이 넘게 걸린다고 합니다. 그 미디어의 방해가 없다면 현재 하고 있는 일에 얼마나 더 집중할 수 있을까요? 취침 전에 화면에서 청색광을 제거하면 수면이 개선될 수 있습니다. 빛은 우리 몸에 잠을 자도록 신호를 보내는 호르몬이 멜라토닌 생성을 방해합니다. 그리고 기술에서 분리하면 에너지를 다시 자신에게 집중할 수 있으며 다른 사람이 하고 있는 것이 아니라 일반적인 웰빙에 초점을 맞추는 데 도움이 됩니다. 우리는 다른 사람들이 하는 일에 대해 너무 많이 걱정하는 것을 그만두고 우리 자신과 건강과 웰빙을 돌볼 수 있는 방법에 대해 더 많이 걱정하기 시작할 수 있습니다.
Okay, so now I'd like to talk about the 24-hour movement guidelines from the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology, which is who I'm certified through. So these guidelines are relevant to adults aged 18 to 64 years, irrespective of gender, cultural background, or socioeconomic status. They may not be appropriate for adults who are pregnant or persons living with a disability or medical condition. So please consider consulting your health practitioner or health professional for guidance if you fall into those categories. These guidelines state that in a 24-hour period, we are encouraged to move more, sleep well, and reduce our sedentary time. And following these guidelines could achieve health benefits, including lower risk of death, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, several different cancers, and improved bone health. Specific psychosocial health improvements by participating in these movement guidelines is likely to improve anxiety, depression, dementia, cognition, and just an overall better quality of life.
이제 캐나다 운동생리학회의 24시간 운동 지침에 대해 이야기해 보겠습니다. 이 가이드라인은 성별 문화적 배경이나 사회경제적 지위에 관계없이 18살에서 64세 사이의 성인에게 적용됩니다. 이것은 임신한 모든 성인이나 장애 또는 질병이 있는 사람에게 적합하지 않을 수 있으므로 이러한 범주 중 하나에 해당하는 경우 의료 전문가와 상의하여 지침을 받는 것이 좋습니다. 이 지침은 24시간 안에 더 많은 수면을 취하고 앉아있는 시간을 줄이는 것이 좋습니다. 이러한 지침을 따르면 사망 위험이 낮은 심혈관 질환, 이형 당뇨병, 여러 암과 뼈 건강 개선을 비롯한 건강상의 이점을 얻을 수 있습니다. 최적의 움직임, 행동 수준에 참여하는 심리사회적 건강에 특정한 것은 불안, 우울증, 치매, 인지 및 삶의 질을 향상시키는 것과 같습니다.
Okay, so what does it actually mean to move more? The guidelines suggest 150 minutes of per week of moderate to vigorous aerobic activities such as brisk walking, hiking, running, swimming, cycling. These are all great examples. This time can be broken up into smaller bits, shorter bouts of activity, anywhere between 10 to 60 minutes, but ideally 3 or more times per week. They also recommend muscle strengthening activities at least twice a week. So examples of this could be resistance training using bands or tubing, free weights, your own body weight, or weight machines. And finally, the guidelines suggest several hours of light physical activities, including just standing.
더 이동하라는 지침은 무엇을 의미합니까? 가이드라인은 빠르게 걷기, 달리기, 수영, 사이클링과 같은 중등도에서 경력할 유산소 신체 활동을 주당 150분 권장합니다. 이 시간은 이상적으로는 일주일 중 3일 이상 동안 한 번에 10분에서 60분 단위로 더 짧은 활동을 여러 번 수행하여 누적될 수 있습니다. 그들은 또한 일주일에 2번 이상 근육 강화 활동을 권장하므로 밴드, 프리웨이트, 체중 또는 웨이트 머신을 사용한 저항 훈련이 될 수 있습니다. 마지막으로 가이드라인에서는 서 있는 것을 포함하여 몇 시간의 가벼운 신체 활동을 권장합니다.
Now, what do the guidelines mean when they suggest to sleep well? They're suggesting that we should be getting 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep on a regular basis to be beneficial, and that a constant bed and wake up time can improve the overall quality of our sleep.
숙면을 제한할 때 지침은 무엇을 의미합니까? 지침에서는 규칙적으로 7에서 9시간의 양질의 수면을 취하는 것이 유익하다고 제안합니다. 그리고 일정한 취침 시간과 기상 시간은 전반적인 수면의 질을 향상시킬 수 있습니다.
And then, what do the guidelines mean by reducing our sedentary time? The guidelines suggest limiting sedentary time to 8 hours or less in a 24-hour period. They suggesting no more than 3 hours per day of recreational screen time. And they also suggest that we break up long periods of sitting as often as possible by standing up and moving your body. So this could be done by setting a timer to go off every 30 minutes to remind you to stand up at your desk and stretch, or to go maybe fill up your water bottle.
앉아있는 시간을 줄인다는 지침은 무엇을 의미합니까? 가이드라인은 앉아있는 시간을 24시간당 8시간 이하로 제한할 것을 제안합니다. 그들은 하루에 3시간 이상의 오락적 스크린 시간을 가지지 않으면 오랜 시간 앉아있는 것을 가능한 한 자주 일어나서 몸을 움직여 휴식을 취합니다. 이것은 스트레칭을 하거나 물병을 채우기 위해 30분마다 책상에서 일어나도록 타이머를 설정하여 수행할 수 있습니다.
Okay, so now we've gone over the negative effects of technology and being connected on our body and our mind. And we have the benefits of taking that time to unplug from technology. I want to go over some tips that you can try to actually make this happen. So number one small step at a time. So start by taking small increments of time, maybe 15 minutes at a time, dedicated to being completely disconnected from the internet, with no phone, no smartwatch, no tablet or laptop or desktop or video game. You could try making a tech-free zone or a no phone zone somewhere in your home, like your bedroom. And then as you are able to implement these small pieces or time or these spaces in your house, then you might be able to progress to longer periods of being unplugged, like 1 hour or 1 day per week.
이제 우리는 기술에 지속적으로 연결되어 있을 때 우리의 몸과 마음에 미치는 부정적인 영향과 시간을 내어 기술에서 분리하는 것의 이점을 알고 있으므로 실제로 이를 실현하기 위한 몇 가지 팁을 살펴보겠습니다. 첫 번째 팁은 한 번에 작은 단계를 수행하세요. 15분 정도의 작은 시간 증분으로 시작하여 인터넷, 스마트폰 없이 완전히 연결을 끊거나 태블릿, 데스크톱, 노트북이나 게임기를 시청하지 않는 데 잡념하십시오. 침실과 같은 집에 어딘가에 기술이 없거나 전화가 없는 영역을 만들 수 있습니다. 그런 다음 집에서 플러그를 뽑을 수 있는 작은 시간이나 공간을 구현할 수 있으므로 하루에 1시간 또는 일주일에 하루와 같이 더 긴 기간으로 진행할 수 있습니다.
So the second tip for taking a break from social media. One thing that I have found very effective is to turn off the social media app notifications. So alerts, banners, badges, so they don't pop up on my home screen. Sorry. And this way, I'm much less likely to go into an app if I don't see a notification there. And again, this goes back to that fear of missing out. I've also set daily time limits for social media apps on my phone, such as Instagram or Facebook. Once I reach my time limit for the day, I am notified by the app. Another idea would be to log out of your social media apps when you're not in use. So you will have to take that extra step to log in back into the app. And finally, you could plan a social media break for a few days or a week, maybe, that you don't check social media. Personally, I use social media for marketing in my business, and I recently decided to take a 3-day break from social media over the Christmas holiday. And I found that it was wonderful. I was able to relax and be much more present with my family. So I highly recommend trying this.
두 번째는 매우 효과적인 것으로 밝혀진 한 가지는 소셜미디어나 앱 알림 또는 배너를 꺼서 홈 화면에 팝업되지 않도록 하는 것입니다. 알림이 표시되지 않으면 앱으로 이동할 가능성이 훨씬 적습니다. 인스타그램 및 페이스북과 같은 휴대전화의 소셜미디어 앱에 대한 일일 시간 제한을 설정하는 것도 좋은 팁입니다. 시간 제한에 도달하면 앱에서 알림을 받게 됩니다. 또 다른 아이디어는 소셜미디어 앱이나 웹사이트를 사용하지 않을 때 로그아웃 하는 것이므로 다시 로그인하려면 추가 단계를 갖춰야 합니다. 마지막으로 예를 들어 며칠 또는 몇 시간 동안 소셜미디어 휴식을 계획할 수 있습니다. 미디어 체크인하지 않는 주. 젠은 비즈니스 마케팅을 위해 소셜미디어를 사용하고 크리스마스 휴가 기간 동안 소셜미디어에서 3일간 휴식을 취하기로 결정했으며 가족과 함께 휴식을 취하고 훨씬 더 많은 시간을 보낼 수 있다는 것을 알았으므로 이것을 시도하는 것이 좋다고 생각합니다.
And my third tip is to get active or do a hobby. For example, you could try a fitness class if there's an in-person option available, a sport like tennis or golf or martial arts, or an outdoor activity such as walking, hiking, biking, swimming, skiing, now that it's winter. You could try a strength training routine in your home gym. I know you already had a presentation on that, so you could refer back to it. And there are many hobbies that don't require a screen, such as knitting, gardening, painting or drawing, musical instruments, cooking, making jewelry, so many options. And always, you could read a book, ideally not on a screen, but an actual hard copy book. I often try to spend the last minutes of my day reading a book rather than looking at my phone to help me fall asleep.
세 번째는 활동을 하거나 취미를 가지세요. 예를 들어 대면 옵션을 사용할 수 있는 경우 피트니스 수업, 테니스, 골프 또는 무술과 같은 스포츠 또는 걷기, 하이킹, 자전거 타기, 수영, 스키 등과 같은 야외 활동을 시도할 수 있습니다. 근력 운동을 시도할 수 있고 홈 체육관에서 루틴, 다시 참조할 수 있는 이에 대한 웨비너 이미 있었습니다. 그리고 많은 취미는 뜨개질, 장원, 각보기, 그림이나 악기, 요리, 보석 만들기와 같은 화면이 필요하지 않습니다. 그리고 항상 책을 읽을 수 있고 이상적으로는 화면이 아니라 실제 하드카피 책입니다. 그는 종종 하루의 마지막 몇 분을 그가 잠들도록 돕기 위해 휴대전화를 보는 것보다 책을 읽으며 보내려고 합니다.
So this concludes the Unplug Yourself presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, my name is Jen Abbot, and you can find me on any of these platforms listed on this slide. I believe we now have some time for questions. I'd be happy to answer anything that you might have.
이것으로 언플러그 자신 웨비나 프레젠테이션을 마칩니다. 시간과 관심을 주셔서 감사하고 슬라이드에 나열된 플랫폼 중 어디에서나 젠을 찾을 수 있습니다. 이제 그는 당신이 가질 수 있는 모든 것에 기꺼이 대답을 것이므로 우리에게 질문할 시간이 있다고 믿습니다.
Sophia, are there any questions?
I
So
can't see
far,
the chat,
I can't
so
see any
yeah.
questions.
Okay, I'll start by sharing one comment in the chat where Chrissy is saying, "Great presentation."
Oh, thank you.
I have a comment when you were talking about taking a break from social media. I was actually advised by my family doctor to give myself a little break from social media for at least a month because I was getting so stressed. And I can tell you that it really helped. I mean, I wasn't totally off it, but then I had set times for checking updates, seeing what my family was up to. One question that I have is, I've heard that sometimes when you're finding it very difficult to give up the habit of using tech, rearranging your furniture sometimes help. Is that true?
I have not heard that. I mean, it would be a great non-sedentary activity that might take your mind off of it. I think the concept around rearranging anything would be to break a habit. Because if your habit is to sit in a certain spot and that is where you sit at your computer, or sit in a certain spot and that's where you sit and use your tablet or your phone, it might get you out of that habit. So it would just break that chain of activity.
Right. Thank you.
But you would also get a good workout by rearranging furniture, I think.
Right.
I have a comment regarding that. Since I'm a student, I spend all of my time on the screen. And since at this age, social media is like a super huge part, I guess, of my daily routine, I have reorganized my whole room, like moved my furniture around at least 5 times in the past year. So I thought that was really funny because I moved my furniture around so much.
So you
Yeah, did it help you?
It's definitely reset a lot of, like, I guess, my ongoing habits. If I see that I am not able to like maintain the cleanliness of my room, like I'm starting to pile my clothes onto my like chair and stuff, I'll completely reorganize my room, and like it actually helps a lot in like, you know, keeping up a routine of keeping my room clean and stuff. So yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, and I think like for any student currently who is doing online learning, because that is what this pandemic has forced upon our education system, we have to be considerate of the guidelines, because these guidelines were also made prior to the pandemic. So when it says 8 hours of screens, that might be longer because you're spending your your class time, your lecture time on a screen, but also your homework time is in front of a screen. And we don't have a lot of other options for, like I said, connecting with friends or family. So it's often through a FaceTime call or a Zoom call. So maybe like there's certain desks that you can get for or setups for your computer where you can stand up while you're at the screen, so you would reduce the sedentary time. But it's really, really difficult right now to completely take that tech out just in our current situation. But I love your rearrangement idea. Maybe I should do that to my room too.
So would you suggest that diet also plays a role, or there is an impact of using tech too much on our diet?
Um, I think that it comes back to habits, because if your habit is to, at the end of your day, go on to some sort of device or watch TV, that's when we often start to find those like snacking habits that generally aren't the healthiest of choices. So if you can say, okay, so at the end of the day, I'm going to choose to do my hobby that is away from a screen. And often our hobbies are hands-on activities. Like if you are drawing, or if you're knitting or painting or cooking. I mean, cooking is still eating, but you would be creating something. So I think if we go into a hobby versus going into a screen at that time, you kind of knit both together, because there's that, your hands are busy, so there's less likeliness to want to snack at that time. Does that answer your question, Farah?
Yes, thank you. Sophia, would you like to translate that?
Oh.
That's a lot, but in a nutshell, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, could you repeat your question again then, like specifically?
My question was the impact of use of technology on diet, or vice versa.
오, 오케이. 그래서 질문은 기술이 다이어트에 미치는 영향입니다. 이제 쟤는 우리가 그 핸드폰을 보면서 핸드폰에 집중되게 돼가지고 우리가 밥 먹을 때도 핸드폰 보다가 너무 많이 먹을 수 있고, 아니면 체할 수도 있고, 아니면 우리가 핸드폰을 계속 보면서 지루해져가지고 나도 모르게 간식 같은 거를 계속 집을 수도 있고. 그래서 이제 취미를 하나 하면서 뭐 미술이나 아니면 밖에 나가서 활동적인 걸 하면 그걸 더 줄이고, 이제 언제 배고픈지, 얼마나 먹어야지 단단하게 먹었는지, 그리고 이제 요리도 할 때 자기가 뭘 만들고 활동하는 거니까 도움이 많이 된다고 합니다.
Thanks, Sophia.
There's one question. Can you tell us a few tips that help to unplug and stay focused on a daily basis?
So I'll go with things that I do. I try to move my body first in the morning. So instead of getting up and checking my phone. The morning is usually when I exercise. So that is doing something that's not sedentary and also doesn't involve using my phone. I try to put my phone somewhere else. So either, if I'm going to spend time with my kids, then and try to not be distracted by my phone, I'll put it in a different area from where I'm playing with them. And that way I'm much more focused on them. And again, I'm not, checking social media and checking screens. I've also, at different times, put my phone in a different room when I'm sleeping. So I will charge it in my bathroom. So it's close by. I could hear it if it rang, but it's not right beside me. So I don't have that tendency to want to check it right before I go to bed. So instead, I'll spend that time reading. So those are some of the things that I do. I think that you could try also doing an activity outside that didn't involve your phone. I know sometimes there's the safety thing where people want that access to be able to contact somebody if they need it. So you could maybe put your phone on do not disturb, put it in a pocket, and make an intention that you're going to go for a walk and not be on technology while you're walking or doing whatever activity that you're outside doing.
질문은 플러그를 뽑고 일상에 집중하는 데 도움이 되는 몇 가지 팁을 알려주시겠습니까? 먼저 몸을 움직여 보세요. 예를 들어 일어나자마자 스트레칭을 하거나 어떤 운동을 하든 아침에는 핸드폰 아니면 다른 거 하기 전에 물 마시고 또 일어나서 몸을 활동하는 게 제일 좋습니다. 작업에 집중하려고 할 때 휴대전화를 다른 곳에 두세요. 그리고 잠을 잘 때 다른 방에 휴대폰을 두어 일어나야 하고 그 스누즈를 누르거나 즉시 전화를 확인하지 않도록 합니다. 그리고 휴대전화에서 자신을 산만하게 하기 위해 외부 활동을 시도하세요.
I'm trying to think if there's any other tips. I was just reading that question again. But I really think that one of the biggest things too is removing alerts and banners and pop-ups on your screens. And you can do that. I have an iPhone. I have an Apple iPhone. So in mine, it's a setting and I can go into the apps and turn off all notifications so they don't pop up on the app icon. They don't pop up on the home screen. The only thing that I have pop up on my home screen is a text message because I know that that could be from my husband or my mom or somebody who actually needs to get a hold of me. But anything else, a Facebook message, an Instagram message, YouTube, Snapchat, all of these things where we're connected to people, I turn off all of the notifications. So then I don't see them pop up until I actually intentionally go in to look at the app. So I've done that for a few years and it's really been very helpful for me.
이제 아까 전에 그 질문에 다시 돌아가면 가장 큰 것은 소셜미디어 앱에 대한 알림이나 배너를 제거하는 것입니다. 알림을 제한하고 중요하지 않은 업데이트를 걸러내는
Thank you. I don't see any other questions popping up. So I think we can wrap up today's session. Thank you so much, Jen.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And thank you especially for making it today, despite of being down with COVID. We so appreciate it.
I think we're on the tail end of it now, so
Right.
we're
Thank
all
you.
feeling much better.
Good, good. Thank you so much. Anna, would you like to say a few words to conclude?
Sure, sure. Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Sophia. And 감사합니다, 여러분들 참석해 주셔서. 우리가 많이 알고 있지만 때로는 안 되고 컨트롤이 안 된 부분도 참 많죠. 자고 일어나면 전화기를 제일 먼저 본다든가 아니면 이메일 체크를 한다든가 우리 많이 그런 현상들이 일어나는데 나의 경우는 잠이 안 올 때 이메일 체크나 뭐 이런 걸 보면 잠이 더 잘 오거든요. 그랬는데 아무튼 좋은 시간이었으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다. Thank you so much, Jen, and your health is not well, but still you do well. And thank you, Sophia, and thank you, Christy, and thank you, Clara, and thank you, City of Calgary, and thank you all of the who have attended to our webinar, and I really, really appreciate it. And hopefully it's something can be changed to this time and you can learn. And myself is I have to change myself when I get up and I don't have to look at my emails and at nighttime I have to when I cannot sleep then I look at it. So sometimes it makes me sleepy. Anyway, it's
I'll give you a tip for sleep, Anna.
Okay. Yes.
I use a meditation app.
Oh.
So if I wake up, and I have little kids, so I'm up in the night all the time, but if I can't go back to sleep, I put on a sleep meditation in the app, and I listen to that.
Okay.
So there's some, the app that I have is called Simple Habits. And there's a free option and a paid option. I just have the free option. So there's some that are locked and you can't listen to, but you can listen to some great ones. And there's some about going to sleep, if that's a struggle for you, or there's some that are fall back asleep when you wake up in the night.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody has some help, I guess. Thank you so much, everybody, and hopefully we see you next week, Thursday as well. And we do have another title and 2 more left. So have a wonderful evening, and hopefully everybody has to get well until next week. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much,
thank you
Anna.
so much.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that our next session is on January 20th, and the topic is grocery shopping techniques. And we have our speaker who presented before, Orsha Magyar, and she will be presenting. So do register. The link is on our website as well as social media, and you can also check us on Eventbrite. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night and stay safe.
Okay.